Hello and welcome to Sci-Fi Night Light, where I basically just talk about random topics that somehow relate to sci-fi and horror. So, sci-fi is great at giving us speculative scenarios and ideas that we otherwise wouldn't think of. When it comes to weapons, that's no different. Sci-fi films and series have given us some amazingly cool futuristic weapons, such as the lightsaber from Star Wars,
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
and the phaser from Star Trek. However, since I'm kind of a weird guy, we're going to take a look at some of the weirder weapons in sci-fi and horror. The 1996 sci-fi action comedy Men in Black has given us tons of great weapons and gadgets. The most infamous is probably the neuralizer, which erases the memory of those exposed to it. So that's all fine and well, but our favorite weapon from the series is the most ironic one, the noisy cricket.
Hey, Kay, no, come on, man. You get a Series 4 deatomizer, I get a little midget cricket. Oh, yeah.
This fun little gun fits right in the palm of your hand, but produces substantially greater destruction. However, it has one hell of a recoil, which seems a bit impractical, but this list is hardly made for practical purposes. This is a weapon that's not only powerful, but it also fits the tone and humor of the film perfectly. Let's move on to something even more absurd, an exploding robot head.
Get ready for a surprise!
Yeah, that's right. Those of you who follow this show will probably know that I'm a huge fan of the 1990 film Total Recall starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. The film has quite a bit of dark humor, and one of the best moments features Arnold disguising himself and using a very unorthodox style of weapon to get away.
Have you brought any fruits or vegetables onto the planet?
2 weeks.
Excuse me?
2 weeks. 2 weeks!
So the disguise part didn't work as it should, but the weapon part sure does. Well, that's about the only time I'd ever want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger giving someone head.
Yes.
Next we'll move on to the most disgusting weapon on the list, the bone gun from the 1999 film Existence by David Cronenberg. So considering this is a Cronenberg film, you obviously know it's going to be weird and gross. This Jude Law flick is about the type of virtual reality video game that is alarmingly similar to real life. In it, Law needs to kill a man at a restaurant and uses a weapon fashioned out of nothing but leftovers from food, which works surprisingly well for something that looks like it was taken off of a plate at your local KFC.
I found this in my soup, and I'm very upset.
Okay, so after listening to the grossest entry on the list, let's check out the holiest one. The 2005 film Constantine stars Keanu Reeves, who is even more dull and depressed than usual, and it's based on a comic book called Hellblazer. I actually quite enjoyed this film despite a couple of flaws, and I always loved Peter Stormare's role as the devil.
Time to go.
Reeves plays kind of a supernatural detective dealing with demonic criminal cases. Obviously, he's got quite a bit of religious weaponry, but the coolest one is probably the cross-shaped holy shotgun that our hero uses to dispatch some anti-satanic punishment. Sure, the film was flawed, sure the cross shape itself doesn't seem to serve any practical function, but in a film like this, the holy shotgun steals the show in terms of weapons and gadgets.
Whoa.
We're gonna return to some more absurd stuff, and I think most of you were kind of waiting for this one to show up. The machine gun leg from the 2000 film Planet Terror.
Open that door, will you, baby?
The film itself is pretty straightforward, in that a biological, zombie-inducing weapon starts infecting people and turning them into the undead. This leads our heroine, played by Rose McGowan, to suit up with a machine gun leg to kick ass and take names. So admittedly the gun itself isn't particularly unique, but the way it's used definitely is. Interestingly enough, the director Robert Rodriguez tested out the idea by himself and then improved it for the finished design. Now that's passionate work for you.
So what we do is film her with this cast, and then
Yeah, not that much more to say about this. It's about as weird and ridiculous as it gets, which makes it fit right in. As Rose McGowan doesn't break a leg, she guns people down with it. let's move on to the first Frisbee-based weapon on the list, the Identity Disc from the 1982 film Tron, as well as the 2010 sequel Tron Legacy. So you really should know about these films if you're a sci-fi fan, but basically a guy gets sucked into a digital world and has to escape a program by winning gladiatorial-style battles within it. So this is a case where the original film hasn't aged all that well.
I don't know how you survived.
And where the sequel/soft reboot was mostly just okay, despite great sounds and visuals. One of the weapons used is called the Identity Disc, which has the power of turning things it touches into corrupted data particles.
You will each receive an identity disc. Everything you do or learn will be imprinted on this disc. If you lose your disc or fail to follow commands, you will be subject to immediate de-resolution.
Which is like the deadly equivalent of a nerd's worst nightmare.
Oh, come on, is that even legal?
Both films feature the Identity Disc, but to be fair, the action scenes are much more exciting in the 2010 flick. So yeah, this is probably something you don't want to bring to the digital park.
Huh? Come on.
So let's finish off. What's a cooler Frisbee-based weapon than the Identity Disc? Well, how about the Smart Disc from 1990's Predator 2? In this criminally underrated film, the alien trophy hunter, the Predator, is back, this time making Los Angeles into his hunting ground, but not making it any more dangerous or crummy than it was before, to be honest.
Los Angeles, 1997. It's the hottest summer on record. Pollution is choking the city. The gangs control the streets.
It has not been a nice day!
The second time around, we're introduced to even more cool alien technology, and the Smart Disc is definitely my favorite. It's more straightforward than the Identity Disc, as it just chops things off and doesn't disintegrate them or anything, but it makes up for it by being smarter. By... I don't know. It's called a Smart Disc. I mean, it can't be a stupid weapon, right? I don't know, I'm just gonna chalk this out to me not understanding alien predator technology, but basically, this is a pretty kick-ass weapon. So that about does it for this episode of Sci-Fi Night Light. We hope you enjoyed it. If I missed your favorite weird sci-fi weapon, by all means let us know in the comments what it is. I'm your host, Sebastian Manuel Martinez, and I'm signing out.
Do you have that bridge in real life?
Absolutely not. My teeth are perfect.